What's up, all you basketball fans? Welcome to ExceedTheHype.com. It's your boy Lucrecio coming at you with another video. Today's video is entitled, "The Chicago Bulls' Future is Brighter Than You Think," right? Because these days, everybody's really down on Chicago because Chicago, they traded away their franchise player or whatever a year after they went ahead and traded away Derrick Rose, their former franchise player. And things were kind of looking a little bit bleak. But today I'm here to tell you it's not as bad as you think, and Chicago's youth movement is a little bit underrated, right? So let's talk about this team. First, let's talk about Dwyane Wade. He is still under contract. He did opt in to the last year of his contract. I think it was like $24 million for that 1 year. However, even though he did opt in my opinion, he will not be traded. He will not play for the Bulls. He will receive a buyout, which will be a percentage of his of the final year of his contract, and he will be free to find his other team, find another team to sign for the veterans minimum, right? Which is going to be Cleveland, in my opinion, because he's probably going to want to try to go for 4 with his good buddy LeBron, given that LeBron is on his final year in Cleveland as well. So we'll ask Dwyane Wade out of the conversation. Other than that little spiel, we won't talk too much about Dwyane Wade in this video. So let's talk about the young man, Antonio Blakeney. Now, this guy from LSU played with Ben Simmons, a high school blue chipper. I really think going to LSU was probably a mistake for him. I understand, him and Ben Simmons had a friendship and they want to play together or whatever. I think this guy was like Mr. Basketball of Florida, their senior year or whatever. I think Antonio Blakeney, had he gone to a different school where a lot of the offense would have been more focused around him as a player, they built a team around him, I think he would have been a higher drafted prospect in the draft. That's just my personal opinion. Been following this guy for a while. I don't even know if he signed a guaranteed contract with the Bulls. So it may be like a trial run. In any case, he will make the team, or if he doesn't make this team, he will make some team and he will be a quality, because he's big. I think he's almost like 6'4" or something like that. He can shoot. He has a very beautiful looking jumper. And he's quick, athletic, or whatever. The guy is an NBA point guard, in my opinion. So like I said, if he doesn't make this team, he's going to make a team and be very good, in my opinion. But most likely he'll make this team, especially with the youth movement. They also have Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn is somebody who stats geeks around the NBA, people who love advanced stats and things of that nature, absolutely hate Chris Dunn. On the other hand, the jury's still out. Okay, he didn't have his best season in Minnesota after being drafted as a 5th pick. There was a lot of expectation on him. So in a way, he didn't live up to the hype. He didn't exceed the hype. But he's still young. He can still grow. Another thing is, and I mentioned this in my Toronto video when I was talking about Kyle Lowry, people underestimate the importance of having a coach believe in you as a player. Like, that's a big deal when a coach really believes in your skill set, understands your skill set, really believes in your skill set, because he'll put you in a position to succeed. And in my opinion, Fred Hoiberg has been chasing after Chris Dunn for years. So a couple years ago, the trade was Jimmy Butler for the 5th pick so they can draft Chris Dunn or whatever. They didn't get it that time, but they got it this time. Jimmy Butler was a year older, and Chris Dunn didn't live up to the hype or whatever, so they were able to get it done. The fact that Fred Hoiberg has been chasing this guy for a long time lets me know that he really believes in him as a player and his skill set, and he thinks he can maximize his skill set in that team. So if he believes that, I believe Fred Hoiberg can do it, and I believe Chris Dunn will be a player. All right, let's talk about Jaren Grant is a good role player to have on this team. The Bulls have a lot of guards, though. Same thing with Justin Holiday. I'm not going to talk too much about Justin Holiday or whatever. Bulls have too much guards. In my opinion, they're going to end up having to get rid of somebody, some of these guards, because they just have too many point guards. Zach LaVine. So this guy, somebody else who came over in the Minnesota Timberwolves trade, Justin Levine, in my opinion, is a good scorer. He's a good scorer. He's very athletic, obviously, with all the Showtime type dunks or whatever. I think he will need to get better defensively, first of all. But if he ever wanted a chance to be a star, to really have an offense predicated completely around you as a player and what you can do as far as carrying your team offensively, this is Zach LaVine's opportunity to do just that, because that's exactly the role he's going to be in this team. He's going to be the focal point on offense. He's going to be able to shoot, basically. He's going to have the green light to shoot however many times he wants or whatever. They're going to take away some of his playmaking because, like I said, they have a lot of point guards on this team. So some of that playmaking responsibilities that he had with the Minnesota Timberwolves will go away. But I think, depending on how he heals from the ACL tear, I think he very well may be a very good player for the Bulls. Franchise player, I don't know yet, but a very good player, definitely. Let's talk about Robin Lopez. Robin Lopez, for years, has been a very solid center in this league. Very, very solid, in my opinion. He's definitely somebody who can do what you need the center to do, can protect the rim, set good screens, can get a lot of offensive rebounds, can basically clean the boards for you. And that's what Robin Lopez does. He's a high energy guy. He's always getting up and down the floor, hustling, trying to get to loose balls, trying to get deflections, trying to get blocks. He's the kind of active big man that you need. So as far as the starting center, I think he's going to continue to be a good starting center for those guys. Lauri Markkanen. Now, Markkanen, I did not get to watch a whole lot of this young man. I believe it was Arizona that he played or whatever. From what I understand, he's like a stretch 4, and he's almost 7 feet. So if that's the case, he will be, even though Meritic, however you say his name, was playing a very similar role to that, like that stretch 4 role. So unless they're just like completely out on him, or it looks like maybe he's a free agent, but I guess he's going to be his replacement, Markkanen, or whatever. However, he was a very high draft pick, so it is very likely that he probably will have a very good rookie campaign. And if he can play in the NBA, which he obviously can, he'll be very big for this team, because once again, that's the way the NBA is going. Stretch 4s, bigs who can step out and shoot to create more space for penetration or whatever. So if he's that kind of guy, which the highlights and things of that nature show him to be that kind of guy, I think he'll fit right in this team and in the NBA and have a very good rookie season. Anthony Morrow was a cast-off of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anthony Morrow was a very good shooter. He probably still is a shooter, but because of the defensive issues or whatever, he hasn't been able to stay on the court with his last couple teams. So we'll see what the Bulls do. He is a free agent, so we'll see if the Bulls even. And they have a lot of guards, so I wonder if he would even be on the roster. Cameron Payne. So of all the point guards that these guys have, he's somebody I really am curious about as far as the point guard position. I think he has very good point guard instincts. He can shoot threes. He's left-handed. He's crafty. He's not the fastest point guard on the court. He doesn't look like the fastest person on the court, but I really believe, I don't know if it's blind belief, but I really believe this guy could be somebody in the NBA. I just think he has good instincts. Like, his head is always on the swivel. He's always looking for the right play. He's always looking for the open man. It's like he has true point guard in him, and he can also stretch the floor with his three-point shooting. And he can also get by you. He's not, like I said, he's not the quickest blow past you guy, but he's crafty. He can get by. He's left-handed, so it's awkward, so it's difficult to guard. I just really feel like he can be somebody in the NBA, and I feel like he'll get the opportunity, even though they have a lot of guards, but I feel like he kind of has that preferred seal on him. So I think he will probably be the default backup point guard or whatever, over probably a lot of other good options that they have. Bobby Portis, another stretch four. I really like Bobby Portis. Number one, I just think he's a gamer. And that's a certain attribute that most people underestimate or whatever. He's just a gamer. Like, he gets up for big games. In big games, like, most time you watch him is mostly three-point shooting, some rebounding, and, you know, some hustle plays and things of that nature. You usually get the normal, you know what to expect from Bobby Portis. But put him in a playoff situation, and all of a sudden you start seeing more skills, more stuff that you didn't see all season or whatever in those situations. And I can appreciate that when a player is a gamer in that way and gets up for big games and big series and things of that nature. So I feel like he's going to be a big part of their future. I know they're very excited about him, and he's, you know, a very good player. He's one of my favorite players on this roster. Denzel Valentine, the Spartan. I'm still yet to see. I was never that high on Denzel Valentine when he was at Michigan State, and I've been high on the Michigan State guys, usually one after the other, whether it was Draymond Green or Gary Harris or whatever. To me, he reminds me of a Draymond Green, except he's not like a power forward. He's not a power player. He's a shooting guard, so that's what is kind of weird. He's very versatile. I like to see him improve from the three-point line, and if he does that, I do think he'll be a very good player and possibly somebody they can help, that could be a cornerstone of this franchise going forward, because he was one of their high draft picks. So I like to see him, you know, be very, very consistent from the three-point line. I like the playmaking, but once again, on a team with so many point guards, I don't know how much they're going to use him for playmaking, for his playmaking ability, and I feel like that's one of his best strengths. So that will just be interesting to see how that plays out. But ultimately, from what I talked about on here, I like some of the pieces that the Bulls have. I think the Bulls have a lot of redundant pieces. That's the problem. They need to find a way to thin out the guard position and get some front court depth. They need a backup center, a good one, and they just need more star power. So if they could package up some of these guards that they have, because they have a lot of freaking guards on this team, if they could package some of them up to get some help in the front court, once again, another young player, I think they could be really tough. Now, I don't know how tough they'll be next year, but going forward, that the Bulls rebuild is not nearly as bad as some of these other teams that we see. Some of these other teams that I'm going to be making videos about in the coming days, all right? But yeah, that's my Bulls overview for the 2017-2018 season. Not as bad as you think. You know, they may surprise you. They may be a team that is fun to go out and watch. And because they're probably not going to win a lot of games next year, the tickets will probably be pretty cheap. All right. So let me know if you agree with my assessment below in the comment section. Like the video if you enjoyed this type of video. There will be more to come. We're at number 18 of the series, and we're doing all of the NBA teams. So more to come. Every single team, even the Brooklyn Nets, everybody. All right. See you next time.